on to relationships. You are dating Reggie Jackson on the Detroit Pistons. I am a sucker for a great love story, so I want to know how you guys met.
Okay, so it was actually when I played for LA 2 years ago. I was out there and I was training at a sports gym called Proactive Sports Performance, and he was training there too, but we never met at the gym. I always saw him there, but I was training by myself, separate to them. And then I brought my teammate with me one session, and she's friends with his best friend Paul, who also plays. He plays for OKC. Okay. So him and Paul, they always get a house together.
Like Paul George, like casually Paul George. Okay.
So they get a house together every summer.
Okay.
And Paul is friends with my teammate that I brought along, and I didn't know that. So we were there training, and Paul saw her. He was like, "Oh, come to the house after. Let's like swim and have a barbecue and stuff like that." We're like, "Okay." It was a hot day in LA. Like, why not? You know. So we went there after workouts, and I met Reggie there, and we were all playing in the pool, and we were playing like football, throwing around, and we were playing like one-on-one. So then Paul was guarding my friend, and then Reggie guarded me, and that's how we met. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like an athletic love story at its finest.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your like initial reaction or like thought was of him when you first saw him?
Well, I didn't know who he was. I just thought he was one of Paul's friends. And then I realized, when I saw him at Paul's house, I didn't know he was the same guy that I saw at the gym until he was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen you at EFT." I was like, "Oh, I've seen you at EFT," and then it just clicked. And he was like, "Oh, so what do you do?" I'm like, "I play LFL." And I was like, "What about you?" He's like, "Oh, I play basketball too." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, sorry.
Casual. No, you don't need to apologize. You kidding me? Don't worry about it.
So he had no idea what I did, and I had no idea what he did. So it was cool.
Nice. That's awesome. So then I'm guessing it's got to be pretty great and comforting being an athlete, dating an athlete.
Yeah, it is. The only annoying thing is the time apart. So, you know, like I'm chasing my dreams, he's chasing his dreams. So we do spend a lot of time apart. But when we do get time together, even if it's just a couple of days, like I just went out to Utah for 3 days because he was out in Utah. They had a game against the Jazz, and it was actually our anniversary. So I went out there for a couple of days, but then I had to come back yesterday because we had practice. But whenever we do get time together, it's precious. And
awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together then now?
Just over a year.
Okay. All right. Very sweet.
Officially, but we've been talking since I was 16. So.
Oh wow. So a pretty long time then.
Yeah.
Okay. So now on to a more important relationship. You and your roommate and your teammate Quincy. You told me that you guys obviously played against each other back in Australia, and then you both came over to the States. So was it like awkward like at first because you guys played against each other? Because I know like being a competitor, like you're like, I don't want to be friends with like people that I'm playing against, you know, like you gotta like step away. But obviously I'm guessing that's not the case for you guys?
No, so initially in LA, my first practice when I first got there, and I saw her, she was there with one of her other teammates from her team. So I kind of felt a little bit ganged up because it was them two against me, and like they beat me, like my team. But after that first practice in LA, it was fine. Like, you know, initially it was awkward. I was like, "Oh, hey, it's good to see you guys." But then after that, because all three of us were Australian, we didn't work during the day because of our visas, and we could only play football. So then the rest of our team, they had work. So then during the day, us three would have nothing to do, so we would hang out, and then that's how we became close.
Okay.
So. And
then it seems like you guys are obviously like the best of buds on Instagram, and I put in here, AKA Thunder Buddies for life.
Yeah, definitely.
So can you talk about like how important it is, I think especially as a woman, to have like good relationships with other women?
Yeah, so it was so awesome that Quincy came with me to Chicago because we both played in LA and then we came to Chicago together, and we're both Australian. So it's good having someone back home that understands everything that you kind of grew up with, the food that you like, and I don't know, just the way that we eat. Like she loves Vegemite too. I love Vegemite.
I've never tried this Vegemite. I feel like I've heard so much about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's an acquired taste. Some people like it, some people don't. But yeah, both her and I like it, and because we grew up eating the same kind of things, because we grew up in the same kind of culture. So it's good having her around, and if we ever start trying to talk American or say American words, we'll like catch each other out. So the other day I was like, "Oh, we need to take the trash out," and she's like, "Trash?" I was like, "Oh, I mean rubbish."
Yeah, I know that. I mean, it is totally the trash or the garbage. But
yeah, but when we don't say that, we say rubbish. So that's why she had to catch me out. I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's got to be rubbish. We don't want to turn into Americans, because when we go home, if we sound somewhat American, they will hang us."
Oh my God. Okay, so what are some other words that you've caught both of yourselves doing here that you're like, we need to stop, we need to get back to our roots?
Okay, so she'll be like, "Can you open the trunk?" You guys say trunk, we say boot. And I'm like, what? Did you say?
Like a boot? Like a kick in the boot?
Yeah, so we call the trunk the boot. So she'll be like, oh, because our training gear is in the boot.
Right.
And so one day she was like, oh, can you open the trunk? And I was like, excuse me? The trunk? And she's like, oh, I'm in the boot.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so it's like stuff like that. So it's good having her around and knowing that I don't have to do this by myself. So
I was going to say, it's nice having a person, no matter where you are, I guess, in the world, that like can kind of like poke you when it's like, no, you need to get back to the way you are. Like, don't let people forget.
Exactly.